Jack. I'll never let go.
Hello and welcome back to Fact Me Up channel. Today, we're embarking on an epic voyage through cinematic history, as we unveil 13 astounding facts about the iconic movie Titanic. From behind-the-scenes secrets to historical revelations, this is your ticket to an unforgettable voyage through the wonders of this legendary movie. So sit tight, hold on to your hats, and let's embark on this epic adventure together. According to recent investigations, it is believed that if Titanic had hit the iceberg head-on, she would have survived the impact. Head-on impact at that speed would have crushed Titanic's bow, and although from the outside the ship would have appeared in fairly bad shape, structurally she would have remained sound and capable of staying afloat. After shoring up the damage with temporary wooden structures, the ship could have even sailed to Nova Scotia for temporary repairs, then returned to Harland and Wolff in Belfast for major repairs. She would likely have been put back into service for the 1913 season, and that would have been the end of the story. James Cameron went on 12 dives to the real Titanic himself, and found it an overwhelming emotional experience to actually see the sunken ship. During his first trip, he was so goal-oriented that he managed to film the shots he wanted, but as soon as he was back on the surface, he broke down in tears after finally realizing the magnitude of the historic tragedy that he had just witnessed. He ended up spending more time with the ship than its living passengers did. After finding out that she had to be naked in front of Leonardo DiCaprio, Kate Winslet decided to break the ice, and when they first met, she flashed him. The elderly couple seen hugging on the bed while water floods their room were the owners of Macy's department store in New York, Rosalie Ida Straus and Isidore Straus, both of whom died on the Titanic. Ida was offered a seat on a lifeboat but refused so that she could stay with her husband, saying, "As we have lived together, so we shall die together." There was a scene filmed that depicted this moment but was cut from the final version.
We've been together for 40 years, and where you go, I go.
With an estimated production cost of $200 million, Titanic was one of the most expensive films of its time. The film's budget even exceeded the cost of building the actual Titanic ship itself. The cost to construct the ship in 1910 to 1912 was £1.5 million, equivalent to $7.5 million at the time and about $150 million in 1997. The scene in which Rose meets Jack to thank him for saving her life was improvised by the two actors at James Cameron's request. Cameron also credits Kate Winslet with improvising the emotional line,
Jack! This is where we first met!
As well as suggesting Rose spit in Cal's face, rather than jab him with a hairpin as it was initially scripted. According to Billy Zane, they had to do so many retakes, he went numb with being spit in the face, and Winslet started using lube because her saliva ran out. In preference to hiring new extras all the time and repeatedly having to fit them for clothes and coach them in proper 1912 mannerisms, a group of 150 core extras was hired who would stay with the picture through the entire production. They and other performers learned proper 1912 behavior in a 3-hour course from the film's choreographer Lynn Hockney. Hockney also produced a video, Titanic Etiquette, a time traveler's guide, which was then left playing continuously in the wardrobe department. Furthermore, many of the core extras used for the movie took on characteristics of actual survivors. One scene where two little girls are loaded onto a lifeboat and the man says,
"It's goodbye for a little while. Only for a little while,"
is based on testimony from one of the girls who survived. The man also says in the scene,
"You hold Mummy's hand and be a good little girl."
According to survivor Eva Hart, these were the last words her father said to her before the lifeboat she was in was lowered. James Cameron was adamant about not including any song in the film, not even over the closing credits, since he often found that they don't fit tonally. Composer James Horner, however, was struggling to end the movie on a strongly emotional note, and thought a song would be the best way to do it. He secretly arranged with lyricist Wilbur Jennings and singer Celine Dion to write the song, My Heart Will Go On, using the central musical theme of the movie as a melody. Horner then presented the recording to Cameron, who responded very favorably, although he had no idea who the singer was. He included the song over the closing credits, and it went on to win the Academy Award for Best Original Song and 4 Grammy Awards. The scene set in 1912, meaning the whole movie except the present-day scenes and the opening and ending credits, have a total length of 2 hours and 40 minutes, the exact time it is believed it took for Titanic to sink. Also, the collision with the iceberg reportedly lasted 37 seconds, which is how long the collision scene is in the movie. When Jack is preparing to draw Rose, and says to her,
"Over on the bed, the couch."
The original line in the script was actually "lie on that couch," but Leonardo DiCaprio made an honest mistake, and James Cameron liked it so much he kept it in. When James Cameron was writing the movie, he intended for the main characters Rose DeWitt Bukater and Jack Dawson to be entirely fictitious. It was only after the script was finished that he discovered that there had been a real J. Dawson who died aboard the Titanic. This J. Dawson was trimmer Joseph Dawson, who had been born September 1888 in Dublin, Ireland. His body was salvaged and buried at Fairview Lawn Cemetery in Nova Scotia with many other Titanic victims. Today, his gravestone number 227 is the most widely visited in the cemetery. Approximately 120 tons of water, triple what had been initially planned, were released for Eric Braeden's final scene. Braeden, who played John Jacob Astor, said that he has never been more terrified in his life than when he was preparing for that scene, as there was obviously no possible physical rehearsal. Thankfully, all went well and the scene wrapped without incident. During the part where Rose and Jack are on the bow of the ship, and Rose says,
Flying! Jack!
the sunset was real and not computer-generated. The set had been purposely built at a seaside location to capture natural light, and 8 days of filming were available to capture the bow shot kissing scene. For obvious reasons, there were only a few minutes per day to shoot the scene, but every time, something wasn't quite right. The crew resorted to filming rehearsal shots in the hope that conditions would improve the next day. The final day had an overcast sky, so no one expected to get a better shot. But just before the day was about to end, the sky suddenly cleared. James Cameron quickly scrambled the crew together, Kate Winslet was hastily pulled out of makeup, and the scene was finished just before another cloud appeared. Due to all the haste, the shot was slightly out of focus, but Cameron nevertheless considered it the perfect sunset he had been waiting for, and this is the shot that ended up in the movie. Even though Cameron is a huge advocate for computer-generated effects, he admitted that the magic that they captured in camera that day would have been hard, if not impossible, to replicate with CGI.